right? So I would flesh out the problem in its entirety. Like you always want to do that. And this is how I think of like the problem section. This is how I conceptualize in my mind. First, I want to get what the problem is, right? Which is always going to be the surface level. Like when I ask what the problem is, they're going to give you a surface level answer, right? And then you're going to probe and they're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper until you actually understand the entirety of the problem, right? For example, in this case, the surface level problem was, hey, what are you struggling with? Shipments are going bad. The real problem is company losing $1 million a week because of XYZ shipments going bad. Like that's the actual specific problem, is the fact that the company's losing $1 million a week, right? So now we got the problem. So once I get problem, and I do this for every single sales offer, once I get problem, I move on to duration. So it's like, okay, service level problem, probe, real problem, duration of problem. So how often does that happen, or how long has that been going on for? Right. So it's like, okay, companies losing $1 million a week. How long have they been losing $1 million a week? They've been losing $1 million a week for the last year. So you lost $52 million with this? Yes. Right. So now we've probed and got the pain of the problem, the pain of the duration and or frequency of the problem. Then now we can go to how the combination of those two things affects the person. So it's like, this is the problem. This is how long the problem's been going on for. Man, how is that? Like, how are you dealing with that? That's got to be stressful dealing with this for X amount of time. And when you ask it in that way, after getting those two things, like in this kind of like formula, it's way more powerful and it hits way harder.
Yeah.
Right. And you can plug this into like any offer. For example, if I was working with someone who wanted to become a closer because they hate their job, it's like, what has you wanting to become a closer? Oh, I hate my job. That's the surface level. Tell me more about that. Well, I hate my job because I hate my boss. Well, why do you hate your boss? Well, because my boss speaks to me in this fashion. Well, how does he speak to you? Oh, he's always demeaning me and saying these things. Now I got the problem. The surface was I want to quit my job. The real problem, the real thing after probing was I want to quit my job because my boss is a jerk and he's always demeaning me he's always demeaning me. Now I got the problem. Now I go to frequency. Okay, how often does your boss say those things about you? Probably like every single day. Every single day. Now I got problem and frequency of problem. How long has that been going on for? It's probably been going on for the last year. So your boss has been doing this to you every day for the last year, right? So now I got duration and frequency. Now I can go to effect. So, I mean, geez, man, you dealing with this for the last year every single day. Like, that's got to take a toll on you. How's that been affecting you? Now that question hits so much harder because they're thinking about the problem. They're thinking about how long it's been going on for, how often it happens. Now, when I ask them how it affects them, the emotions pour out.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my formula for probing into the problem, right? Get the surface level, get the stated problem, dig into it, get the real problem, get the frequency and duration, then see how the combination of the problem and the frequency affects them. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
that's how that logistics question would have been. Like, that was a great question, but you could have made it hit 10 times harder by doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
Awesome. And then once I do that, that's when I move into goals, right? Because then I'm like, all right, so tell me then, what do you want to achieve then? Tell me, what's your goal? Because it's like a perfect segue to go
Yeah.
right into goals now, dig into that, and we keep it pushing.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hey, Ty, can I follow up with a question on that? So
Mhm.
I like that process. It builds up momentum, right? But how do you get in for the person to really start talking about the problem
All
before?
they have to do is it starts from stating the surface level problem. It always starts from there. And that's why I always say, so what brought you on the call today? Why are you here?
Okay, there you go. That's it.
Well, I'm here because what did Cody say when you guys were doing the role play? I'm struggling with I wrote it down here. He said he doesn't know how to manage or get capital. Now that's the surface. Well, tell me about the capital. Tell me about that. Why are you struggling there? Well, I just don't have the money. Right? Tell me more about that. Well, I work this job. Job doesn't pay enough money for me to go and invest into real estate. So I'm trying to look for other avenues, maybe get investors, get help, network, whatever. Right? So that's the problem. He doesn't have the money. Okay, when did you realize that the capital you were making wouldn't be enough? Now I'm going to frequency and duration. Well, I realized it probably like 6 months ago. Okay, so you've been thinking about this and feeling like you just didn't have enough cash for this for the last 6 months? Yes, I have. Okay. I mean, wanting to do something for 6 months and not really knowing how to do it, that's got to take a toll on you. Oh yeah, it has. In what way would you say? Well, I mean, just feel stuck here. Okay, well, talk to me. Like, so what do you want in a perfect world? What's the goal here? What do you want to achieve with real estate? Now I'm going into goals.